things like that. But like the actuality of there being like an observing presence inside of their body, looking out, knowing and feeling the potential that we feel, I know that that's fucking real. And
of course.
And I feel like it's
who we are inside. You know, like it's what we yearn out to understand at the same time, simultaneously, even though it subconsciously is us in exchange. You know, well, you know.
Well,
God willing,
it opens the question, like, what is it?
You want to yearn out to help other people, don't you? You know.
Yeah.
But a lot of people don't see it that way, and that's what's fucked up.
What is it to give consciousness to a being? Like, if you had the power of understanding scientifically what consciousness was, and you saw a being that had no evolved consciousness, and said, like, I want to because I'm responsible enough to understand what this means. I am responsible enough to understand what this entails and the risks and everything that's involved, just like owning a car, owning a house. I am going to give this being, let's say a shrimp or a turtle or anything, I am going to give this thing conscious, decisive thought.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you even come to that? Like, I feel like, you know, because I do believe in, like, aliens and the outer life, I'm like, there had to be a group of beings that looked at us and was like, for some reason, these beings deserve to be able to, like, experience that whole sensation of optionality. The sensation of optionality to understand, like, I'm up and down, I'm here and there, I'm in and out.
Yeah, but I mean, they don't have to really say anything to each other to feel that. They're already so far past with where they were formed that they're naturally already organically set for just understanding each other through telepathy and all sorts of different means of, you know, like, as a human, if you were to look at an extraterrestrial of any descent, you know, it doesn't matter where, you will not be able to whatsoever, you won't be able to read any emotion, any type of feeling from them. You wouldn't be able to represent anything whatsoever. You wouldn't be able to feel what it is they have on their mind. Nothing. You would just.
Well, you know, that's a really.
You would have to kind of sort of pick apart the pieces of what you're understanding of what they're telling you, if they're telling you, or if they're even speaking to you in telepathy.
Oh yeah, it's really interesting that you bring it up that way, because I think a lot about it in the terms of, like, car mechanics.
If one gear is a little bit different than the other, the whole system goes down.
The whole system goes down, exactly.
That's a very good analogy of it.
And, like, you're trying to look at it from a more systematic approach rather than an emotional approach.
Or point of view.
But at the same time that you're approaching it from that systematic approach, you have to include the emotion, because that's part of the machine.
That's part of That's part of how do you.
It's like,
how do you?
If I erase the emotion, it would almost be like taking the the timing belt out of the car. Or something like that.
Exactly.
The emotion is all in this
huge gap of either history that we know, or something would be greatly, deeply altered, you know, in our existence, in our time. That, like, and
if you take away the emotional component,
when you think about it, it's actually pretty much happening, just in different, slower methods.
Oh, it is, and it has been happening for millennia. When you think about, like, things as far back as, like, the Spartan race, you know, like, babies and stuff like that were totally discarded if they had any sights of, like,
the NFL.
Oh yeah, exactly. But they were a lot more.
It's just
more
a small, like, you know, primitive concept of this idea.
But you know, like the NFL, I have a lot of shitty stuff to say about the NFL, which I agree about, because every football team owner of the NFL is like a white, like rich, like socialist or something
slave
like
owner.
That. Basically. So essentially what they're doing is the same thing Leonardo DiCaprio was doing that in that like Django Unchained movie, where he's just kind of like watching like black built athletes fight each other to the death. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what it is.
Yeah,
You're just watching them fight
I
to the
didn't
death.
even finish that movie, man.
Oh, you didn't? It's
No.
a good movie. Yeah.
I turned it off. I was like, nah.
No,
I
you
was
get-
like,
you gotta get through it.
Will Smith already did this in Wild Wild West.
No, it's
I'm
not
joking.
the same.
I'm joking. I'm
No.
joking. I'm joking.
No,
No,
it's
no,
not
not
like
yet.
that. It's not even like that.